Hello, fine people of planet amazing Earth. How amazing is it that we all exist right now, right in this moment? We're experiencing this existence all at the same time. We're all here in the same moment. This is our time, our moment. It's pretty crazy. I'm sure everyone out there who's watching this, we're having moments of bliss, peace, excitement, and also sadness, frustration, irritation, anger. We're experiencing an incredible array of experiences, emotions. Being this being that we are in this existence. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And as I'm sure some of you know from watching a lot of my videos or from my past videos, that I don't think we need to be too concerned with how this vehicle works. And I think there's more success in enjoying the ride. And yeah, in a balanced way. In this video, I want to talk about what I'm seeing out there more than anything that's creating happiness, confidence, peace, comfort, contentment with most people out there. Well, the people that I work with mostly, okay? So goals are so important. We need to we as humans, when we have nothing to do, when we don't have a purpose, we can become sad, depressed. We feel irrelevant, unneeded. We feel useless. We feel like we don't know where we're going. So there's a sense of lost, sense of weakness, and it's all, of course, linked to fear, right? So our fear increases, and with that we feel down, we feel not so good. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, when we have active goals that we're working towards, when we're keeping ourselves busy working towards those goals, we feel happy. We feel a sense of purpose. We feel needed. We feel relevant. And it fills us with a sense of wholeness, relevance, confidence. It boosts our self-esteem. Now, when we have nothing to do, we tend to revert to simple, basic goals. What are basic goals? And that's what I want to talk about in this video. There are two types of goals. We have higher level goals, and then we have basic goals. Basic goals are going to be the basic instinctual goals in our DNA, in our instinct. What are those basic goals? They're survival goals. So they are goals to reproduce, to have sex, to eat is a goal, to create shelter. So you will find, maybe in your own life or out there in the world, that when people aren't working on those higher goals, higher level goals, and I'll come to that in a second, we tend to go for the easy goals, the basic goals. You see, our brain is amazing. It's like and excuse me if I breathe a bit deeply today. I actually injured myself training. I've been training pretty hard this last couple of months, which is why there's been an absence of videos. But yeah, I got this terrible injury right now, so it's kind of hurting me. But so our basic instinctual goals are when we find that, oh, you know what, I have nothing to do, I have nothing going for me, I have no sense of purpose, it's when we aren't aware that how important goals are to keeping us happy. When we aren't aware of that, as many of us are, we're just kind of like doing what we have been told and taught and conditioned to do: wake up, go to work, etc., etc. And then you might feel miserable, you might feel, what's the point of my life, and all this kind of stuff. And then to make us feel happy, we go towards goals, basic instinctual goals. Have sex. You have sex, or uh, satisfy yourself, right? Or you watch some porn, or you go just eat, veg out on something. So you feed, you do something related to those basic instincts of reproduction. So it could be anything sexual that will make you feel, oh, a sense of accomplishment, Or it could be eating, so you eat, you veg out, you feel, oh, this sense of accomplishment, right? Or it could be that you make a lot of money and you work hard and you get your check and you this sense of accomplishment, right? And that's all biological, right? So we have endorphins that are released, and these endorphins we've evolved to trigger them so that they're guiding us towards survival. But as I said, those are the basic goals that all of us can achieve. And now, these days, there are ways that we can virtually achieve those goals. For example, rather than actually really having sex, there's, now hundreds of other ways you can do it. It can be virtual, it can be through sexting, it can be just pleasuring yourself, watching porn or whatever, using your imagination. That's virtual sex, right? And then the same thing can happen with community, like you feel the sense of accomplishment and connection with Facebook or the social media, where it's not really real, it's virtual, right? So just to keep it clear, what the focus of this video is all about is how important goals are biologically to us, so that we feel happy, so that we feel confident, so we feel strong, so that we aren't overthinking or overanalyzing. That all happens when we have time and we have space and we're not occupied, right? So when we're occupied, we're usually happy. When we're not occupied, it's usually when we feel down and depressed and angry or sad. So keeping ourselves occupied is extremely important, but while I am on that, so is balance. You don't want to be keeping yourself occupied as a distraction because you don't want to deal with something hard that's going on in your life. So keeping yourself occupied is important, but also having that time where you're not occupied is also important, so that you can strengthen yourself, face, stillness, face some of the issues thoughts and beliefs that are going through your head. That's when I work with people, that's what we work through. We work through those moments, those thoughts, those beliefs, and we work through them so that they're no longer there. They no longer persist, right? So going back to what I was saying earlier about our brain is this incredible, almost a living historical record of our evolution. It's sort of like, if you look at the layers of the land, archaeologists can tell you by the layers of the land. They'll cut through the rock and they'll say, oh, can you see this layer? At this moment in time, there was a volcanic eruption, and that's why there's this black line through the rock, because the dust from the volcano settled, and then that's how they can date, the finds that they find, the different, bones or, whatever they find, right? So in the same way, those layers exist with our brain. And the front of our brain, scientists have learned that is the newest part of our brain, the frontal cortex, right? And the oldest part of our brain is right at the back and actually wraps under, and it is, you can call it our reptilian brain, or it's just our basic the first brain that we had. And what was programmed in the first version of our brain, version 1, right, was to have sex, to reproduce, to eat, to fight, to protect yourself, to build, all the basics for survival. And guess what? Those feelings, those urges, they still exist today. They're still strong today. And those urges, those feelings, those needs we have confuse us today, because we wind up trying to figure out, well, what's right? Should I follow those urges? Should I go out and be reproducing and sleeping around? And, sex is important. Eating is important. Money is important. It confuses a lot of people. Are those things important? Or do we go to our higher self, which I'm going to talk about now, which is, we have the basic goals, and then we have the higher level goals. The higher level goals come from our more evolved being. And our more evolved being realizes that, hey, goals are goals. And I don't need to actually get married. I don't need to actually reproduce. I don't actually need to have sex. I don't need to do all these things to be happy. I don't even need money to be happy. In order for me to be happy, what I need is an objective. I need goals. As I talk about in a lot of my videos, I have come to learn that the two most important things for human happiness are goals and gratitude. Because being goal-driven is so important, to have goals. And higher level goals, what are they? There are examples of that. It's like, I want to write a book someday. I want to record an album someday. I want to make a movie someday. I want to open a school someday. I want to put on events someday. I'd like to open an art gallery someday. I'd like to paint. I'd like to take photos. I'd like to become an athlete. I'd like to be one of the best producing business people in my company, or I want to start my own company. So those are goals that keep us occupied, right? And just having goals itself, you can dive into this realm and manage this in your life, because just having one or two goals is great, but I I'm a believer that, hey, have lots of goals, have backup goals too, because we tend to accomplish our goals. We're amazing. And once we accomplish our goals, as you'll see a lot of rich celebrities, or who are just people that they reach their goals and they become rich or they become famous, then they realize, holy crap, I'm still feeling emptiness and loneliness. Why? Because they're no longer occupied. They've reached their goals. So that a lot of champions can become depressed, they can become mischievous, they can start, so a lot of clever, wealthy people stay occupied. Yes, they might be millionaires or even billionaires, but you'll see that they are working. They start foundations, they get involved with charity work, they keep themselves busy, because they understand happiness is not about money. Happiness is about being occupied. Happiness is about feeling needed, feeling a purpose. So it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, old or young. It doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy, or whatever. The happiness is about having a sense of purpose, and sense of purpose comes from having goals, objectives, and then being aware that there are some basic goals, reproduction, survival goals, and just make sure that you're not just depending on those those things. Make sure that, hey, you can scan through your life and say, well, are these the only sources of happiness that I have right now? Basic survival, instinctual goals. You can ask yourself, like, is what is keeping me occupied? Is it girls? Is it guys? Is it just dating? Is that, is it relationships that's such a big part of my life? Well, then that's a basic goal. That's from your basic, your reptilian survival mind. Yeah, that's your basic goals. It's what was given to you as your basic survival package. So if you're just concerned with working and making money, it's the same thing again. Those are your basic goals, which are fine, but why not elevate yourself and introduce higher level goals too in combination with those basic goals? Because then you will be protecting yourself, ensuring greater longevity for happiness and survival, keeping yourself stimulated, energized, keeping yourself mentally healthy, physically healthy. So I like to have personally lots of goals in different realms. So I have my physical goals, which are tied to my MMA, my kickboxing, my jiu-jitsu, and there'll be long-term goals, for example, to get my black belt or to get a whatever, achievements. And then I'll have my short-term goals of like competitions that are coming up, fights that I have coming up, or healing, recovering injuries, or setting different targets that I want to accomplish in the gym, being able to compete better with certain people, stronger people. So those are all sub-goals, right? Under major goals, you'll have sub-goals. And you don't have to write these things down. If you do, even better, but just as long as you're thinking of them. That's what I spend a lot of time doing, and a lot of people do. Like, they'll think of their goals, and they'll go through their goals. And it's better thinking of your goals than to think of, things that are just making you unhappy, right? So looking forward, it's not a bad thing. Looking even into the past is not a bad thing. As long as the thoughts and beliefs that you're putting your attention on, whether they're future or past thoughts, are positive, are energizing, are improving your health, your strength, right? So be very aware of this. Be very aware. Scan through your life and say, hey, well, I'm noticing that all my objectives in life are just linked to these lower level, basic, instinctual goals. Like, all I'm thinking about is girls, money, cars, house. Well, there's a reason maybe why you're not so happy, and there's a limit to how happy you're able to be. And maybe you're noticing other people, or you're noticing that, hey, or you just have this feeling inside you that, hey, I know I can be much happier than this. I know that I can be more than this. I know I can be better than this. Well, it's because you can, because beyond those basic things of like just reproducing like bunnies and being able to like eat a lot of food and provide shelter and make money so you can buy things, and beyond all those things lies the realm of creative goals, creating, building, making, whether it's, like I said, starting a foundation or writing a book. And those goals keep us just as happy, if not happier, than those basic goals. At the end of the day, I do believe that, it's important to satisfy all of our goals, the higher level goals and the basic goals. There's nothing wrong with having a mate, a partner that we can reproduce and pass on our thinking, our DNA, all that we've learned, all that we've achieved onto the next generation. There's a lot of satisfaction in that. But if you're not able to do that in your lifetime, or it just hasn't happened, or if you're not so interested in that, well, that can be channeled into higher level goals. You can be a teacher, you can be a coach, you can open a school, you can open a charity, and you can still pass on. It's such a deep topic, really. It's many books. It's not just a book. I have a lot of people telling me I should write a book, and perhaps someday I will put all of this in a book. But for now, these videos are a lot easier and quick, and I can just share a lot of these thoughts out there and exchange with everyone. So again, just the gist of this video. The most important thing to take away from this video is: do you have goals right now? Are your goals, are they active? Are they clear? Do you know what they are? They should be. And it shouldn't just be one or two. You should have several of them, Or if you don't have several of them, we're going to get to that in a second. How do you figure out what your goals should be? Because, for me, for a lot of people, it's easy, or easier. We can figure that out. For a lot of people, it's difficult. They're not sure what they want to do, what their goals should be. Well, let's talk about that. I can tell you that people that I have worked with, or I still work with, the way I guide people through figuring out what their life goals are is simple. I just have them make a couple of lists. The first list is, what are the things that you love to do? And just let it rip. What are the things you enjoy, like really enjoy doing? It can be anything. It can be like you love music, you love movies, you love art, you love video games, you love dancing, you love people, you just love talking, you love talking to people, you love traveling, you love photography, you love mathematics, you love making money, whatever it is. Just make that list as long as you can. Hey, you could even have stuff on there that you love sex, you love whatever. Just make a nice long list of all the things that you can think of that you enjoy doing. Sleeping, meditating, yoga, riding a bike, hunting, nature, the beach, mountains, rivers, oceans, birds, horses, anything. We live in heaven. There's an endless list of things out there, right? So make that list of things that you enjoy doing, and then make another list of the things that you're good at, things that you're good at doing. Because sometimes we're good at something, but we don't actually enjoy doing it. Or sometimes we enjoy something, but we're not actually good at it. I'll give you an example. I've mentioned this before in a video, but at the MMA gym that I've been training at for like now over 9 years, there was a guy, and he's a great example of someone who very cleverly, figured out, some goals for what he wants to do with his life, with his time. He had a 9 to 5, I guess, desk job, was making good money, but he wanted more in his life. Now, he greatly enjoyed mixed martial arts and fighting. So that's that list, the list of things that I enjoy. He enjoyed all of that, but wasn't really very good at fighting. Well, what's he going to do? Well, he went to the other list, things that he's good at. And on that list he's very good photographer. Very good photographer, an excellent photographer. So here's what you do when you make these two lists, and this is what he did, is you'll start to marry things, combine things, link things from those lists to each other. And what he did was he started taking photographs at fighting events. And after about a couple of years, maybe 3 years of doing this, just going to local events with the fighters from the gym, or he started actually taking photos in the gym of people training, and the fighters loved those photos. And then he started going to events, taking photos at cage fights, at kickboxing matches, at jiu-jitsu matches. And just kept at it, just kept doing it until he wound up getting paid to do it, and now is cage side at big events, gets paid. He's one of the regular photographers. He gets a press pass, and he's photographing MMA events, right? So that's a great example of how you can, once you've brainstormed, your interests, the things you enjoy, and then don't forget, what are you actually good at? Then you can combine those things together. Like, maybe you like sex, right? That's on your list of things that you enjoy doing. And then you look at, what are you good at doing? Maybe you're good at accounting. Well, maybe you can work for a porn company and an accountant. Why not? Or it doesn't have to be a porn company, but it can be anything. There's opportunities for us everywhere. Even like if you love playing video games, and maybe you're not good at video games, or you are good at video games. There's opportunities there. So combining those two things from those two lists helps us to find good goals for us in life. Goals worth pursuing. Goals that will carry with them returns on your invested time and energy. And those returns, at the end of the day, the root of all those returns has to be a sense of contentment, happiness, peace, greater health, greater energy, greater ability, greater confidence, greater power, right? So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. It's coming up to 30 minutes now. I hope this helps. And again, apologies for the delay in videos. I've been doing more private sessions with people. Thanks to everyone who's been emailing, contacting me, and setting up sessions and working with me. And it's an honor really for me to coach and work and counsel people and help people through difficulty. It's something that I enjoy, I find very rewarding, and I recommend and I advise people out there, go do the same, go and help. We can all learn from someone, and we can all teach someone something. So don't ever feel that, oh, I'm not qualified enough to teach, or what do I know? And no, we all have something to teach someone else. And as I said, we all can learn something from someone. So I learn from the people I work with. I learn a lot. Every day I'm learning. It's just different situations, different experiences, and I feel honored to be able to pass on to people as well. And thank you to those of you who have signed up to my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Mouth of the Ape. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. It means so much to me, and just to see that number of people in there just growing slowly. And I will keep putting exclusive videos on there for those people. After this video, I'm going to upload a video onto the Patreon page just for those people only. Yeah, just if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. And otherwise, hopefully make more videos soon. As soon as I get this shoulder injury. Now, I'll make videos even while I'm injured. But yes, take care of your bodies. Stay active. Stay occupied, mentally, physically, and be aware of the two different types, the two levels of goals, right? Basic goals, programmed within us, biological survival goals, but then also the higher level goals that will also help us survive and stay happy. All right, adios for now, everyone. Talk soon.